And we're going in depth for you tonight. After years of investigation, the largest federal racketeering conspiracy case in South Carolina has come to a close.
The Department of Justice announced that the last defendant has been sentenced. 40 people total were charged. 18 of those involved were from the upstate. Prosecutors say this was part of a sprawling criminal operation by the Insane Gangster Disciples, a branch of the Folk Nation gang. Now, officials say murders, kidnappings, gun trafficking, and drug operations were all coordinated from within prison walls using contraband cell phones. 3 of the killings named to the conspiracy have upstate connections. Now, we want to break this down for you tonight. The timeline begins with the death of Kendrick Hoover, who is originally from Anderson. Officials say Hoover was stabbed to death with a makeshift knife while in prison back in 2017. Investigators say Edward Akridge of Greenville was the one who killed Hoover. The DOJ named him as one of 4 people who helped orchestrate the gang's operations from inside prison. He was sentenced to 30 years after pleading guilty to his charges. And the next case referenced was the death of Michelle Dodge in 2019. Investigators at the time said she was kidnapped in Cherokee County before she was shot and killed. Now, her body was found a couple days later in Lawrence County, and officials say they later learned her murder was organized by James Peterson, who used his cell phone to send texts ordering her killing from inside prison. Peterson was sentenced to life in prison, and he was also considered one of the main gang leaders. Peterson was already behind bars, serving a 35-year sentence for a Cherokee County deadly shooting back in 2005. Now, the last upstate killing connected to this case was the death of Jeffrey Snipes. Officials say he was killed along Old Grove Road in Greenville County back in 2020 after multiple shots were fired into a home. Now, one of the original indictments alleges Edward Akridge believed stolen drug money was being held at the home, so he ordered others to go there and retrieve it. The indictment does not suggest that Snipes was involved in the drug operation in any way. 4 people were charged in that case.
A third defendant from the upstate, also considered a leader in this gang, he was sentenced in the case as well. This is Juan Rodriguez. Officials say he's from Woodruff. He was sentenced to 10 years behind bars after he pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. In the wake of the final sentencing, the FBI special agent in charge released a statement saying in part, quote, "This sentence marks the end of an era for a violent organization responsible for a multitude of criminal activities across South Carolina that negatively impacted the way of life for many communities." You can find a full list of all 40 people sentenced in this case at foxcarolina.com.